Good morning. Welcome back to CBS News New York on this Wednesday, June 5th. With summer upon us, New York City already bustling with tourists, public events, major activities. But with increased activity comes increased concerns about safety. And just this past weekend, the Israel Day parade was held up with extra security amid threats to those participating, making sure that their safety was a primary concern. And the Cricket World Cup faced terror threats for the India-Pakistan match, forcing the NYPD to prompt a terror warning for that match, which is upcoming. Joining us now to discuss is CBS law enforcement contributor and former deputy commissioner with the NYPD, Richard Esposito. Rich, good to see you. How are you?
Good morning, Chris. I'm good.
Okay, now, we all know that we can expect packed sidewalks, parks, subways in the summer. There are people everywhere, no matter what the temperatures, no matter what time of the year it is. But what are some of the specific challenges that law enforcement faces during this time? Well, not only do we have the locals, but we have so many people from outside the state and the country here.
You know, Chris, obviously we have everything from the beaches, Orchard Beach, Coney Island, the Rockaways, to Central Park and concerts, Shakespeare in the Park, to Prospect Park, to the crowded streets of Times Square and Fifth Avenue. So and in the summer, all of the events, all of the people who are new to New York City, congestion pricing is something you could consider on the sidewalks in the summer here, you know. It's going to be busy, and that's a good thing for the city, but it's a challenge for the police.
Don't give the MTA any ideas about congestion pricing with people on the sidewalk. they may take us up on that.
They might like it.
I'm going to blame you for that.
Okay.
Okay, we mentioned the Israel Day Parade and the Cricket World Cup as more events happen this summer. How does the NYPD work together? I mean, how much more security do they need aside from what they already have in place when they hear a threat does come up, like for that India-Pakistan match, for instance? How does that change the plan?
It changes the plan from event to event, and that's what the New York City Police Department's very good at. They're agile. The Israel Day Parade has always had high security. In the past, there'd be bomb squads going through checking FedEx packages left in the doorways of buildings that aren't open to make sure it was mail. But this year, you saw a completely different security package. Streets were shut down, locked down. Spectators were carefully vetted. So they made a conscious decision of how are we going to police this one event. And so they've got a new tactic this summer, Chris. In summers past, they do this thing called all-out, where they get cops from commands like One Police Plaza or Police Academy, and they push them out onto the street. This year, they've changed that plan. They're calling it mobile field forces this year. It's something new. Each day, depending on what the situation is or what the threat is, they're going to be able to move groups of cops to a very specific place. So let's say there's a concert in Times Square that one of the morning shows has on. They can move a group of police there rapidly, all these extra cops that normally aren't on the street. But let's say in the afternoon, there's an event in Brooklyn or a high crime incident. They can shift that entire force there, and they're all going to come out equipped with the kind of gear you need should there be a disturbance, the helmets, the bats, the nightsticks. They'll have those with them so that they're ready to be deployed. It's a new tactic, and it's very, very agile. It's something they're just doing this year.
Let me also ask you, I'm sure you've heard, obviously, yesterday, we talked with Tariq Shepard during this program yesterday, and the new crackdown on mopeds, ATVs, scooters, they've got checkpoints now at some of the bridges and tunnels. Your thoughts on that, finally, going from a year ago when we really didn't have much crime associated with people on scooters to now, a year later, over 400, according to NYPD tracking?
I think it's completely necessary. We've had various kinds of unlicensed scooter gangs in the past. Now it's violence. In the past, it was harassing people. We don't want to see tourists going through the city with 20 and 30 guys on bikes with helmets on doing wheelies down Broadway. So stopping them at these checkpoints is a very good idea, keeping them out of the traffic flow, off the streets. It's just not acceptable. And the crime coming off the backs of scooters, that's just got to stop. And I think that's what Tariq was talking about.
And let me just ask you one before I let you go. One more question about, we're going to see, we're just showing some pictures of a packed Central Park and some of Bryant Park and the places here in the city. What would you recommend people, again, whether they're locals or tourists, what would be the one takeaway for them?
Yeah, the one takeaway is when you go to crowded events, be very conscious of your surroundings. Look around, keep your head up, don't look at your phone all the time. Make sure your possessions are in your front pockets when you're carrying money and wallets and stuff like that. Self-awareness, be aware of what's going on around you.
And that's what I always tell people. Get your head out of your phone. Take a look at your surroundings, not just from a safety standpoint, but it's a pretty great place to be. So take it all in. All right, Richard, good to see you. Thanks again. CBS Law Enforcement contributor Richard Esposito, thank you, and we appreciate it. Richard, as always, he joins us every week in the 8 o'clock hour for more issues that we're following facing the NYPD. Head to CBSNewYork.com. We will see Richard next week, if not sooner.